Welcome to today's video, and today I've picked myself up two faulty Nintendo Switches off of eBay. So switch number one, so this was knowingly bought as an OLED. It's in pretty good condition and fingers crossed it's not been opened. So as you can see, it cost me £46 including postage. The description said it's got a small crack and it had no power, it wasn't turning on. So I received it, held the power button down, and I got the battery symbol in the corner. So I left it on charge to see what would happen, and then after a couple of hours I turned it on and it worked. Since then I've done all the checks I need to. It's been connected to the internet, the Joy-Cons connect, it docks, it's not blocked. I genuinely cannot find a fault with it, so it looks like I've been very lucky and I've got a very cheap Switch OLED. Moving on to Switch number two. So as you can see, this is a Nintendo Switch OLED, quite clear. This cost £35. It was listed as Nintendo Switch Hack 001. There's no mention of OLED, but going by the picture, I was pretty sure it was an OLED and it was worth the gamble. The fault with this one is the right Joy-Con connects, as you can see, but when we connect the left Joy-Con, it doesn't connect. Normally in the past, this is down to a faulty rail, and I'm hoping that's what's going to be the issue with this one now. So we got our iFixit kit out, and then we'll take it apart. So we lift the back cover up. It's a little bit grubby, nothing too bad. So we've got screws all around the sides, Phillips head screws. We'll take all them out, and then we've got two tri-wing screws at the bottom. Just need to get a little lipper in the corner and just lever up the back cover. The vents are holding it down a little bit, but it just needs a little bit of persuasion. You don't want to be too rough because we don't want to break any of the plastic, and then the back peels off. So as you can see, it looks like there's a bit of liquid damage there, which is hopefully what the main issue was once we delve down deeper. Take all the screws out the back heat shield, disconnect the connections, take that off, and then we'll disconnect the battery. And I can see some liquid damage at the top and around the battery connector as well. So I'm going to take the side rail off, just very carefully wiggle this out. We don't want to cause any damage to the cable itself. And then we just need to get something sharp to push out this metal pin, pull that out, and then we can have a little look in the microscope. And as you can see, we've got a little bit of dirt, not too bad to be fair. So coming with some isopropyl, a fiberglass pen, and some tweezers, and give it a good scrape. Give the inside of the rail a clean as well, and then we can slide that back into place and then push the pin back in. Whilst under the microscope, we'll have a look at the board as well. So we've got a little bit of corrosion around this chip and on the battery connector too, so we'll give that a little bit of a clean, and then we'll scroll up to the top, and as you can see, we've got a little bit of fluid up there as well. This connector itself looks like it's in great condition, but because I'm not quite sure how bad the damage is, I'm going to take the motherboard out as well. So we just take out all the screws, release all the ribbon cables, and then carefully lift the motherboard up. Wiggle it out at the bottom, and then we'll flip it over, and surprisingly there's not a mark on the back of it. So we'll give it a little bit of a clean before we put it back together. It looks like some kind of milky substance, probably milk. And then we'll put it back in, so the motherboard hooks in at the bottom. Don't trap any of the ribbon cables, just hook all them out before you start putting all the screws back in. Then we'll reconnect the ribbon cable on the side. That just needs to be fed along there, underneath the motherboard. Screws in, ribbon cables connected. Game card SD card slot back in. We'll give this back plate a bit of a clean, remove the hopefully milk, and then we'll reconnect the battery. I'm not going to refresh the thermal paste at the moment because there's a good chance that this will get modded in the next week or two, but I want to put it all back together for the video. All the screws go back in, 2 connectors on the back. The back cover goes back on, you hook it along at the top, and then hinges in the middle just need a little bit of wiggling to get them into place, and then push it down at the bottom. It'll all clip in, all your screws along the back, along the side, and then we're all back together. Time for a test. We'll turn it back on. I know it needs a clean, that's on my to-do list. And we're still getting the Nintendo Switch logo, so we're still working up to now. And then as you can see, we've got our insert Joy-Cons, so we'll double check with the right, that works fine. We'll click the left one in, and then now that one connects. And now we can go through the setup process and set up our Nintendo Switch. So now we've got a second fully working Nintendo Switch OLED. So it was worth the gamble. £35 is more than I'd like to spend on Nintendo Switches now, but I was pretty sure it was going to be an OLED, and I was pleasantly surprised when it turned up. So one OLED came, said it had no power, worked straight away. The other OLED with a faulty Joy-Con rail, which just needed a clean. So there are bargains out there if you're prepared to take the risk and search for them. I've got very lucky today with 2 cheap Nintendo Switch OLEDs, but it doesn't always work out like that. I've had some bad ones in the past too. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.